Welcome to the show, everybody. Happy football week. Happy Phillies' biggest win of the season day. And Saquon Barkley tops the NFL's top 100 list, coming in as the best player in the NFL, as voted on by his peers. Welcome into the show. Happy Tuesday. I hope you guys had just a wonderful Labor Day weekend. I had an awesome Labor Day weekend hanging out with the family. It was awesome. Down the beaches, having myself a great time. Oh, my goodness gracious. I come back and follow the Phillies, winning 3 out of 4 against the Atlanta Braves. Unfortunately, they couldn't seal the deal there with the sweep. The offense went silent after 19 runs, of course, in the 4-homer game by Kyle Schwarber. That was pretty fun. But coming to today, and I see yesterday it hits that Saquon Barkley is the best player in the NFL. And that's fun to say out loud into a microphone and have it be true. And we said all throughout last season, I said all throughout last season, that when this offense really got going, you could certainly look at after the bye week. He was pretty damn good before the bye week as well last year. But the greatest force in the NFL is Saquon Barkley behind this offensive line. I've made the comparison many times before as someone who grew up in the era of, well, you know, if Barry Sanders had Emmitt Smith's offensive line, oh, what would he have done then? Well, he's pretty good still. It's not Mitt's words there. But when he came, if he would have had that offensive line, he would have been what Saquon is right now. That's what would have happened. And that's not the slight Barry Sanders by any means. But this is talking about the perfect situation, the perfect scenario to be in as a wildly talented running back. And I knew, and this is not coming from someone who's a huge Penn State fan or anything like that. I have zero Penn State bias in me. It's not my school. I don't care. But watching him at Penn State, watching him at the Giants, that was the thought I had. If this guy gets a legit offensive line, he's going to be something. In my wildest expectations, I didn't expect best player in the NFL level, but yet here we are with him at that spot, just being out Lamar Jackson for the number 1 spot in the NFL. We're going to get into that list. We're also going to get into this mindset of the Philadelphia Eagles and what they got going on right now in that locker room, because it continues to be something absolutely incredible. And that is to look at last year as if it was nothing. A Super Bowl championship. Not only they're not, going to repeat, they're not going to defend their title, as Jordan Mailata told us in the beginning of training camp, but they're starting a brand new era of Eagles football. To use Landon Dickerson's words, every year, every team is on a 1-year deal. Every single season you walk into, that team is on a 1-year contract. And it's beyond true. Because you're never going to have that Eagles team of last year back again for another run. There are differences. There are changes, especially on the defensive end of the football. So for me, you look at this series, you look at this season, and you think to yourself, is this really going to be a team that's going to be, pressing to be what they were last year, or are they going to find their new identity? Because Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni spoke about that yesterday. New offensive coordinator. We've been through this in the past. It did not go well with a new offensive coordinator. It went great when he talked about an offensive coordinator coming in last year, but at least he was of experience in Kellen Moore. And now you have Kevin Patullo embarking on his rookie season as an offensive coordinator. Do we have questions about that? Is Jalen going to be the same? Is Jalen going to be even better than he was last year? Is this run game going to be tapped into as much as it was last year? Are you going to try to spare Saquon Barkley after his epic workload of last year? Well, I hope everyone has the same type of reaction to that Jordan Mailata has, which is, get out of here. Saquon? Can't do it again? Seriously? Well, I hope Jordan Mailata is right, that he can carry the workload again just like he did last year, and it won't have any ill effects on his health, on his conditioning, on whether or not he'll be as sharp as we'd love him to be come postseason. But right now, I've said it from the beginning, the question I have for Kevin Patullo is, what is going to be your wrinkle? What is going to be your difference-making idea? What is Jalen Hurts going to embrace from you in order to take this offense, if there is a next level, to the next level, or to keep this offense performing at the same high rate it did last year? A lot of questions asked of Vic Fangio at yesterday's press conference as to whether or not he's going to be naming his starters. I'll let you hear from Vic Fangio because I can't do it justice the way Vic Fangio does. Here's the spoiler, though. No, No. Outside corner? No. Safety? Nope. Quinyon Mitchell did travel? Nope. Linebacker? Nope. Not getting anything. He's not singing like a canary. He saw nothing. He knows nothing, Vic Fangio. But we'll let you hear from him anyway, just because, again, I can't do it justice like Vic Fangio can do it justice. Also, Jalen Hurts addressed the media yesterday, and he had something to say regarding the mantra, if you will. Now, one of the things that you search for, and I was just having this conversation with some Ravens fans and some Ohio State Buckeye fans, Cleveland Browns fans, and Commanders fans, because that's who I was around with my in-laws. And they're asking me about Nick Sirianni. They're asking me about Jalen Hurts. But the thing they're asking me about Nick Sirianni is like, do you guys really hold it against him that he doesn't call plays? And I said, well, put it this way. I don't really hold much against him. I mean, I'll say that. There are other things that we can really get into the weeds with that I just find interesting. But, hey, when you win a Super Bowl, you've been to 2 Super Bowls, you've been to the playoffs every year. Yeah, it's kind of hard to hold something against him. But if you're asking specifically if you hold he doesn't call plays against him, not really. The only thing that is curious to me is that why he demoted himself. Like, for instance, Ravens fans, John Harbaugh doesn't call plays, right? But did he ever demote himself where he called plays and then didn't? Because that's the only thing we're talking about way beyond years ago here in Philadelphia. So what does he do great? What does he do well? Is the follow-up question to that. And the answer to that is what I've told you many times. He gets his team ready to play football. That's what he does. And if the initial game plan doesn't work, if what they have worked on all week doesn't work, they got the adjustment. That's what he does well. He gets his team ready to play for everything. Whether it's, okay, this is what we're going to do at the beginning. Nope, it's not going to work. All right, let's have this ready to go. That's going to work. All right, great. Let's crack into this now. But also, mentally speaking, the mental preparation that Nick Sirianni does with his football team, I do honestly feel is invaluable. We can all talk about talent. We can talk about oh my God, Howie Roseman has done a wonderful job with this team, and that will not go unmentioned. Let's acknowledge it right now. He's phenomenal. But what Nick Sirianni does to prepare his team is get those wheels turning in their heads in a great direction and with great oil. He gets them moving like a well-oiled machine between the ears to mentally prepare them for the grind that is a football season. And whether you're talking about mountaintops and valleys, the peaks and the valleys, whether you're talking about throwing away last year and getting into this year, whether you're talking about flowers or whatever, he is getting this team ready to play football. And the one thing Jalen Hurts said yesterday that really jumped out to me was Nick Sirianni's message this year. And it really doesn't have anything to do with the Super Bowl win of last year. It just has to do with the overall mentality every player needs to have on this team. And if every player on this team has this mentality, then they're going to have a lot of success again this year. And that mentality is, I'll let you hear from Jalen Hurts himself. Here he is yesterday addressing the media when it came to Nick Sirianni's message to the team.
When you said Nick, it made me really, the thing that he's been preaching a lot is contribution over credit, and the whole sense of, it doesn't really matter how it gets done, just a matter of getting it done, as a team and really buying into that collective. And so I think he's had a habit of saying that. He's had a habit of saying that to try and go to that next level, it requires something more of yourself. And so I think he's done a really good job from a message standpoint. And as a team, we just have to continue to, kind of be all in on that and follow his lead.
Contribution over credit. Contribution over credit. I honestly feel like that really sums up Jalen Hurts as much as it sums up what Nick Sirianni wants the rest of his team to do. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if Nick Sirianni looked at his quarterback and then said, yeah, forget about me setting the mood for the team as like a head coach. Let me acknowledge the guy that they really want to follow, the guy they have to follow on the football field, looking in their eyes, calling all these plays and all that. That's Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts is all about the contribution over the credit. I've told you guys before, my big ask of this team, my big ask of Kevin Patullo is you're still a run-first team. Let's not get away from that. However, can we lean on the passing game just a little bit? Can we lean on it just a little bit more than we did last year, just so we don't get to a point of atrophy like we saw against the Panthers in last year's season? Where they're like, okay, maybe not great. A little worried. Also, it's more so for me about the workload and the carries and the touches overall for Saquon Barkley. If we could just lean on the running game, or excuse me, lean on the passing game to spell the running game just a little bit more, I'd be happy with that. But Jalen Hurts also has to subscribe to that as well, because Jalen Hurts is the guy that is checking down with some regularity at the line of scrimmage when he looks at the defense and goes, oh, this is a perfect one for Saquon, and then he breaks it. A lot of that comes down to Jalen Hurts. And guess what? Jalen Hurts does not get credit for checkdowns to Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley, this offensive line, and Kevin Patullo will get credit when that happens. So contribution is Jalen Hurts making the right read, the right pre-snap read, and giving the ball to Saquon Barkley. The credit goes everywhere but Jalen Hurts on those plays. The contribution, though, that Jalen Hurts made led to 7 points. The rest of the team takes on that mantra. The rest of the team takes on that. Hey, A.J. Brown, people always have their concerns with. And I love A.J. Brown. Last year, he was the first person with the microphone in front of his face. Hey, what do you need to work on? Passing. He's the first person people look to. It is so easy, and I say this every year, it is so easy to paint a wide receiver who is not afraid to speak out as a diva or a drama queen or whatever. I don't look at A.J. Brown like that at all. And I love that he said it at the Art Museum steps last year after the parade, or I should say earlier this year after the parade, where he said, yeah, a lot of people call me a diva, a drama queen, but guess what? I'm a bleeping world champion. You know that thing? I absolutely love that for A.J. Brown. But he's even said, he's talking about, going after another Super Bowl, talking about trying to get his numbers and all that stuff, and, cement his legacy even more. And by the way, for the record, he said when he was asked about, are you playing on Thursday? He's like, hell yeah. People will look at A.J. Brown and say, well, will this guy be the guy to, stir the pot if he's not getting his numbers? Well, if he continues to practice contributions over credit, then some great things are going to happen with this Philadelphia Eagles team again. And what's really rotating around in my brain, just what is on repeat in my brain right now, is talking about two-time Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles taking the field against the Dallas Cowboys on the two-time Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to have another night, Thursday night, where they unfurl a banner that says Super Bowl champions on it. We didn't grow up in this world, folks. We don't know this feeling. And yet, here we are. Here we are again. I look at this season, and you could still talk about question marks on the defensive side of the football, but when you have an offense that can be this dominant, when you have someone on the defensive line of the skill set and sheer dominance of a Jalen Carter, when you got a guy who really cracked the code with Vic Fangio, as Zach Bond did last year, talk about being a defensive player of the year candidate, playing behind someone who could be another defensive player of the year candidate. You have Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean lurking in a secondary that we've asked so many questions about this offseason. You have a game stealer like Reed Blankenship back there at safety as well. You feel pretty good still about where that defense is. You feel pretty damn good about where this offense is. And you feel pretty damn good where this team is overall. So, two-time Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles sounds pretty damn good. Three-time Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles sound pretty good. Back-to-back Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles also sounds pretty damn good. And what I was saying earlier about Nick Sirianni as far as getting his team ready to play, well, he does that every year, getting them off to 10-1, 10-3 starts. With the exception, of course, of his rookie year as the head coach. But since then, 3 straight years, pretty damn good. But when you talk about what you could see from this Eagles team in this season, and you talk about the mental preparation it takes just to be ready for a year, what's that mental preparation? How good is that mental preparation going to look when you're talking about back-to-back years of being a Super Bowl champion? Because that's very possible for this Eagles team this season. And for those that need to hear it, if they stay healthy, you're damn right. They have more than just a shot at winning back-to-back Super Bowl championships. By the way, to round it out for Saquon Barkley, as for where he was at, the top 10 came in as Patrick Surtain, Justin Jefferson, Myles Garrett, Derrick Henry, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Jamar Chase, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Saquon Barkley. That rounded out your top 10 players in the NFL. Of course, Jalen Hurts came in at number 19. That's where he fell in. So ahead of him, when you talk about quarterbacks, they have him as the fifth best. Is it the fifth best quarterback? Sixth best quarterback in the NFL. Finally, a list that doesn't have Justin Herbert in front of him. That makes me feel pretty good. Your Philadelphia Phillies, we'll get into them as well. Yesterday, I think you'd easily call that the biggest win of the season, if not the greatest game of the season. I know you can talk about dominance of Zach Wheeler when he was healthy. You could talk about what Christopher Sanchez has done, Ranger Suarez. You can talk about all these great pitching mounts. But when you are trailing in a game 4-0, you're trailing in a game 5-1. And you have Taijuan Walker pitching, and you got to go to the bullpen. It doesn't exactly make you feel great. When you talk about two games where you really have trouble scoring, you got to go to extra innings against the Braves, then yeah, it doesn't really make you feel good going up against one of the hottest teams in baseball, best team in baseball record-wise in the Milwaukee Brewers. You're on the road in Milwaukee, and you're down 5-1. You're not going, oh, this offense is about to break out. Now, I know they have the potential to do it. I was waiting for him to do it yesterday. Bryce Harper's home run in the fourth inning at least got the Phillies on the board. And then they scored in the fifth, and then they scored in the sixth, and then they kept on making runs happen to the point where they won 10-8. They outslugged the Milwaukee Brewers in an absolute slugfest, an absolute haymaker fest, if you will. It was awesome watching that game yesterday. And the Mets won also 10-8, by the way. Juan Soto, I believe, had a grand slam in that game. He had himself a hell of a day. It was pretty phenomenal to watch this Phillies team yesterday just keep on fighting. And when the lead was threatened, they came back and they just kept coming. It reminded me of the Rocky Balboa quote about, getting hit and keep moving forward and all that stuff. That's exactly what happened yesterday. They're down 5-1 in the fourth inning. Harper had his home run in the top of the fourth to make it a 4-1 game. Chourio gets the sac fly RBI to left field to make it a 5-1 game. So you're now back in a 4-run hole, unfortunately. You're in a 4-run deficit. Fifth inning, Trey Turner comes up there, gets a 2-run triple, makes it a 5-3 game. So, all right, you're chipping away a little bit, chipping away. They get a 1-2-3 inning from newcomer T-Bro. Congratulations. Meza comes up. He handles his business. For a fantastic 1-2-3 fifth inning, 13 pitches. Welcome to the party, pal. And then in the sixth inning, everything changes. JT Realmuto gets hit by a pitch, a 2-2 fastball off the elbow. He takes his base. Brandon Marsh gets the single to right field. JT goes to third on this one. Bader, an RBI double, makes it a 5-4 game. Kepler steps up there. You got second and third, nobody out. They have a little mound conference. What are we going to do? Well, Max Kepler steps up there, puts one in the center field for a sac fly RBI, and we got a tie ball game. It's 5-5. And then absolutely awesome. And Mundo Sosa gets the sac fly RBI to right field, and they get the 6-5 lead. Just like that, the Phillies turn it around over a couple of innings. Unfortunately, Chourio, he scores in the sixth inning. Oh, say it ain't so, Bryson Stott. The game-tying run scores on Bryson Stott's error. Seventh inning, nothing doing there for the Phillies. They get nothing out of it, unfortunately. Let's fast forward to the eighth inning. Harrison Bader puts the Phillies in front 7-6 with an RBI double to left field, bringing home Brandon Marsh, who only got another hit in the game. He was 4 for 5 yesterday. They get another run on Bryson Stott's RBI double, so he gives him another run. And then David Robertson comes in. Strikes out Ortiz, strikes out Turang, looking sharp. Chourio steps up to the plate. He fouls one. I believe it was a knuckle curve. He fouls one off the hibbity-dibbity of JT Realmuto. Let's all have a moment of prayer. JT goes down. They tend to him. He walks it off. Gotta love him. And I don't know if the delay from JT needing to rightfully shake that one off, I don't know if that messed with him or not, but he ends up walking Churio, single to Contreras, first and second, 2 outs. Yelich works the walk, bases loaded, 2 outs. They bring in the pinch hitter Collins, and he puts it just under Trey Turner's mitt at short. Trey Turner has been nothing short of spectacular defensively at shortstop recently over the last couple of days. May even been a couple of great plays earlier in the game. And he just lets this ball go under his mitt. He was there to make the play. He missed it. Like, when I first saw it, I was like, was that just out of his reach? I was like, no, he was there. He was there. Game tied at 8. Game's tied at 8. So now you came down from 4-0, came down from 5-1. They tie it, take the lead again. They tie it again. They just won't go away. It's almost like the Brewers had the best record in baseball. They had some ungodly record, by the way, being up like 4 runs. Like, that went away yesterday. So you step into the 9th inning. 9th inning yesterday. It's an 8-8 ball game. Schwarber works a leadoff walk, goes from 3-0 to 3-2, sits on the edge of the seat a little bit. He fouls off a 3-1 sinker that I thought he was going to deposit in the upper deck there in Milwaukee. But he works the walk against Uribe. Harper strikes out in the 2-2 slider. Real Muto works a walk. No, I don't think he went around. I was on the same page as Ruben Amaro Jr., by the way. After Schwarber's leadoff walk, I said, I'm not pinch running Garrett Stubbs right here. I'm not pinch running right here. I'm going to wait until Stubbs get in the scoring position. Sure enough, with JT's walk, that pushes Schwarber to second. They pinch run Stubbs. First day in the big leagues this year for old Stubby. What, the Vibes Master General? What do we call him? Brandon Marsh steps up, gets his 4th hit of the game, an RBI single to right field that puts the Phillies in front. Stubbs scores, 9-8 Phillies. Harrison Bader comes up there, 1st and 3rd, 1 out. He puts an RBI single into right field. Brandon Marsh thrown out at 3rd, unfortunately, but the damage done. Phillies score 2 runs. They lead 10-8. They give the ball to Joan Duran there in the 9th inning, and he gets out of it easy peasy. 25th save of the season. Phillies take game 1 against the Milwaukee Brewers. Huge win. Biggest win of the season as far as I'm concerned. Greatest game of the season as far as I'm concerned. Mets win. You keep a 6-game lead in the division. And the fact that the Phillies just kept fighting. I loved what Rob Thompson had to say after the game. I think it was my man Bob Cooney that asked the question. So how about that one? He's like, Rob Thompson goes, yeah, I'm going to bed. They get the day off today. Jose Quintana starts tomorrow against Aaron Nola. Then they got Freddie Peralta going against Ranger Suarez on Wednesday afternoon. On Thursday afternoon. It's wild. It was absolutely wild, that game yesterday. So it's huge that you were able to win yesterday's game against Mizorowski. And the Phillies just kept fighting. And that's what you wanted to see from them. It was awful to watch them get spanked by the Mets. It was great to see them at least win the 3 out of 4 against the Atlanta Braves, despite offense struggling in the last 2 games. And yesterday, to see them fight the way they did, to see Harrison Bader's contributions to this Phillies ball club has been great. And, it comes on the heels of my wife actually was at the Phillies game the other day. And she was there for a work thing. And they gave her like a lot of store credits there to the what do you call it? The pro? It's not the pro shop. I'm so used to the Majestic Clubhouse, but it's not that obviously. So that she was like just like getting stuff, and she's like, "Oh, this shirt's funny," and she gave me a shirt that had Harrison Bader laying across a bowl of tater tots, and it just says Bader Tots. And I was like, I don't know if I can wear this yet. And it was like when he was just coming to the Phillies. I know he had a couple of good, big plays for the Phillies, big walk, big hit, all that. And I'm like, I'm going to wait a little bit. Well, now I don't feel like I should wear it at all because he has been absolutely on fire for this Phillies team. So I don't want to jinx it. I'm not going to wear it. It's a nice shirt. It's a Bader Tot shirt. I think it's funny. I do enjoy tater tots. Who doesn't enjoy a tater tot? I do like tater tots. Anyway, I'm not going to wear it. I don't want to jinx anything. All right. We'll get back to the Phillies, I'm sure, in your comments coming up a little bit later. But, yeah, they're off today, and they're back at it tomorrow. So there you go. Your Philadelphia Eagles. I'll let you hear from Jalen Hurts right out of the gate. If you're interested to know how the defense is going to work itself out, I believe it's Jeff McClain starting it off with Vic Fangio yesterday on the Eagles defense. When it comes to starting outside corner, what's Vic Fangio have to say about it?
Cornerback.
I'm not sure yet. Or I'll let Nick announce that.
You're sure? No.
What's that?
No.
Pretty much, yeah.
I guess you could say the same for linebacker too. Like who's going to?
Yeah, Nick will announce that.
Safety.
Howie will announce that.
Oh, Vic Fangio. You cooking up something, Vic? Must be. He must be. I wouldn't expect him. To make the announcements. He's been a head coach. Defensive coordinators the Eagles have had that have been head coaches, even Jim Schwartz, for instance. Those guys know. Jim Schwartz, he said it. He just has too much respect for the chair, the chair of a head coach. Vic Fangio, I think, understands that as well, and understands who's going to be making that decision. Kevin Patullo yesterday. Look, he's not going to give a game plan. He did talk about facing Matt Eberflus, defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. Now their time together in Indianapolis. How much the Parsons deal changes their game plan, where you don't have to game plan now for Micah Parsons. I'm sure that's he's not there anymore. Oh, that's good. I'm sure that feels good. But he did say, look, it's all about how Matt Eberflus is going to deploy what he's got. And their basic strategy is not going to change. So you still need to make sure you have the right plays and the right preparation going into the game to combat whatever Matt Eberflus is going to do. So, yes, it's a good thing that I think you have certainly seen more cards. Kevin Patullo has certainly seen more cards from Matt Eberflus than Matt Eberflus has seen from Kevin Patullo. So I think advantage Patullo in that situation. So I think that's a good thing. If you're going to go against somebody, you want to go up against the devil you know and not the devil you don't know, as they say. But Patullo yesterday, one thing that's it's been a little bit odd, is he was just asked about the new role. If you remember at the beginning of training camp, Kevin Patullo was asked about the new role he has as the offensive coordinator and play caller for the Philadelphia Eagles and how it's been different. And his response was, yeah, it hasn't been different. Really hasn't been that different. And I'm like, it better feel different. This is a lot different than just being the passing game coordinator. So yesterday, he kind of maintained that same thing. He was asked yesterday, I think it was Dave Uram of KYW News Radio. He was asked about, hey, you have that job now. We're the offensive coordinator. How you feeling?
I'm excited. I mean, it's fun. It's a huge opportunity, obviously, but it goes back to even in year one with Nick, just working through all the situations and things that we've done together. So I've been a part of so much of it. It doesn't feel too much different, but it is exciting. And I think the guys feel a good energy and they're excited too.
How much do you
I'm glad he's excited. Still not that different, though. But I'm glad he's excited. As far as practice yesterday, Landon Dickerson back. What? Back? I'm sorry, did not practice? What? Tanner McKee, right thumb. All right, let's get that better. Limited participant, Drew Makuba with the hamstring, Josh Uche with the groin. Full participant, Jalen Carter. A.J. Brown, not listed because, again, hell yeah, he's playing against the Cowboys on Thursday. I don't know if it's because it was the Super Bowl. I don't know if it's because of the parade. I don't know. It really just flew by. The offseason flew by. We also had plenty of time when we had the tush push conversation for what felt like forever. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson trade. By the way, Kenyon Green gets re-signed by the Eagles to the 53-man roster, so there you go. You had a lot going on in this offseason. A lot to follow. Maybe that helped in the whole process. I don't know. But, man, it just absolutely flew by. I can't wait for Thursday night. I absolutely can't wait for it. I look at this Eagles team and my overall viewpoint, like biggest questions surrounding this football team. Defensively, it's whether or not you can, again, rely on two rookies the way you did last year. Is it really possible to have Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell come in the way they did last year and play at that level, and then the following year, Jihad Campbell and Drew Makuba pick up where those two left off, and they help revamp the defense again. They help revitalize the defense again. They help in the reloading of the defense again. Is it really possible to have back-to-back years of two huge contributors? And, hey, Ty Robinson, he figures it out on the defensive line. He could be looking at something, I won't tell you special just yet, but something that is certainly more of the contribution that Jalen Hurts was talking about via Nick Sirianni. I really look forward to seeing what these guys can do. And the fact that, just like we talk about in the offensive line, they have Jeff Stoutland's blessing, how bad could it be? They have Vic Fangio's blessing, how bad could it be? I choose to focus on how great could it be. Could it be at least of the level that you saw last year? And even if our concern about outside corner, if it's Adoree Jackson, if it's Jacorian Bennett, if it's Mac McWilliams, Kelly Ringo, if it's any of those guys, you're talking about the third corner essentially. Because when you have Quinyon and you got Cooper, if you're talking about talent, those are 1 and 2 very easy. Those are 1 and 1. Those are 1A and 1B, whatever. And then you go take care of the third guy, other outside corner. Go take care of that. And maybe even that's Cooper DeJean. I don't know. But I look forward to seeing how all that plays out, and I know you do too. As far as this top 100 list goes, one of the things I absolutely love about this for Saquon Barkley, being the number one guy on the NFL top 100, one of my favorite things about it is it's not just a Saquon Barkley award. No, it's not just I'll say acknowledgement. It has to do with all your offensive linemen. It has to do with the likes of Jordan Mailata, who came in at number 69, Lane Johnson, who came in at number 23. Those tackles anchoring this line is pretty spectacular. Cam Jurgens, a Pro Bowler already. That's what it has to do with. Landon Dickerson, one of the best in the biz, if not the best in the biz. And it also sets a high bar for Tyler Steen, who, by the way, played pretty damn well when he played last year. It's not just Saquon up top there. It's Saquon not standing on top of like Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen or Jamar Chase. It's Saquon Barkley standing on the shoulders of that offensive line. And that's why it's so incredible. Jeff Stoutland has created this offensive line, has coached up this offensive line to the point where the guy that runs behind them is the best in the NFL in Saquon Barkley. Yeah, that's a team award to see Saquon up there. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Let me tell you about the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code FARS, you get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. You want to go to the game, the concert, the comedy show? Game Time app has you covered. So do what I do. When it comes to going to the game, the concert, the comedy show, Game Time app has you covered. How about this? Game Time Picks. The Game Time Picks feature is absolutely incredible. You know what that does? That filters out all the fluff so you get right down to it. The best seats at the best prices on the Game Time app. Eagles game, Game Time app. Phillies game, Game Time app. When time comes, Flyers, Sixers, Game Time app. Also, if you want to go to the concert or comedy show, Game Time app has you covered as well. So how about the Game Time app? Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code FARZY, get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. How about Sky Motor Cars? Check out Brett's amazing inventory at SkyMotorcars.com. Let's get into the chat check and see what everyone's feeling on this fine Tuesday morning. Back to school for some people today, Lil Toots included. Mark Lemons, I can accept the 6th. What is that? The unfortunate. I'm trying to think which one that was. Was that the? That was the Bryson Stott error. Yeah, I hear you. Go Fightins. There you go, Mark. Thank you. Sean Gillespie. Hello. April. Good morning, April. Eagles fan. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Sean Kilrain. Hello. Rye. Eagles have a white cornerback and a white receiver. What team was last to do this one? Don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's been a minute. Right. Dallas has officially become a team free agents will avoid. No more America's team discounts. Laugh out loud. How about Dak Prescott acknowledging, yeah, I thought Micah Parsons would re-sign here, but with the way negotiations went, no. What he's saying by that is Jerry's an idiot. That's what he's saying by that. Sean Curry, top 100 player count by team. 9. Philadelphia. Wow. Detroit 6. That's pretty damn good. Houston 5. Green Bay, a bunch of other teams. That's pretty wild. Rye, I see you. Thank you. Sean Kilrain, Jalen Carter generated 19 pressures while lined up as a nose tackle / defensive tackle, DT/NT. And the Eagles Super Bowl run. No other interior defensive lineman in the last 5 seasons has recorded more than 13. Damn, son. Jason A, good morning. Got voted best player in the league while playing for the Eagles. I do love it. Thank you. Jason A. Yeah, I'm impressed with Barkley being number 1. Didn't know they give you a trophy for that. And honestly, the top 100 more meaning than even the MVP voting. Yeah, when it's the guys saying it, when it's the players saying it. Not to mention get the rushing record, including the playoffs. Hell yeah. Sean Gillespie, AJ just tells the truth. Media are the ones who... Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now. I feel like I'm in the minority here, maybe because it's the way it worked out. I really haven't had much of a problem with anything AJ Brown has said. My one critique after he said passing was, hold on a second. Last year, I was defending him last year, or 2 years ago, I should say, when he iced out the media for like 2.5 weeks. I was like, he probably has nothing nice to say, so he's not going to say anything at all. What did he say? What did he address the media for that 13-minute media session at his locker? He said, I didn't have anything nice to say, so I don't want to say it at all. I wish he would have followed that advice last year when he talked about the passing game needing to work because everyone just looked right at Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts was not nearly the only problem in that game. You go watch the All-22 in the Panthers game. The offensive line has no idea what he's doing. Jordan Mailata even said as much, where they didn't know what their assignments were on certain plays or what they were doing on certain plays. Jalen Hurts was obviously terrible. I'm not going to dismiss that. Wide receivers didn't know what they were doing. There was literal communication between Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith is just like, what are you talking about? What's going on? And then the one play that killed me was Jalen Hurts rolling to his left. And on that, he's looking downfield. He's not looking to run. He's looking downfield, and A.J. Brown just abandons him on that side of the football field, runs to the other side of the field. That doesn't help anybody. Like that play, those are just 3 examples. It was terrible. It was a terrible game. I wish A.J. Brown would have followed his own advice of just saying, I didn't have anything nice to say, so I wasn't going to say anything at all. Yeah, let's do that. Let's keep it that. But he didn't. And it wasn't a major criticism of him. It was just whatever. I still love the guy. I'm on the opposite side. I hate the book. I hated the book on the sideline. That's the only thing. Everyone loved it. I hated it. So I went the other way, another direction. I mean, unintentional, by the way. I wasn't like, let me go against the grain. No, that's the only thing I didn't like. That turned out to be the phenomenon. Danny, hello. Ken Sod, hello. Good morning. God bless. There we go. Thank you, Vulnerable Vitality. T-Bro, there you go. Tim Meza. Better do well wearing that number. Hobbit Dibbity. Excellent technical wording. Oh, Hibbity Dibbity. Yeah, you're welcome. That nut shot delay with JT seems to have messed with Robertson's rhythm for sure. Right? That's what I thought of. Hibbity Dibbity. I'm glad this has become a point of conversation. Harrison Bader, since joining the Phillies per Sean Kilrain, 304 batting average, 12 runs scored, 6 doubles, 1 triple, 2 home runs, 8 RBIs, 7 walks, 378 on base percentage. Not too shabby. T-Bro, I like the Bader trade from the beginning. I was like, okay. That's what I was like. I was curious to see if it would mean that there'd be less Castellanos, and there's less Castellanos. Jason, love Fangio is the best listen by far. I concur. Rodney Heiter, hello. Fly Eagles fly. Packers might be scary this year. They might be scary this year. Who's the most famous Vic in Eagle history? Michael Vick or Vic Fangio? I mean, I think Michael Vick is the most famous. Most important? I think you have to go with Vic Fangio. I feel like I'm blanking on another Vic. Jason, summer flew by so fast. Hell yeah. Wait, Sean Kilrain, is that real? I saw this. I didn't know if it was real or not. Does Cooper DeJean really have a new cereal, or is that just AI-generated pics for laughs? I don't know why this is taking so long. Stop it. Oh, it is real. Good God. I do love cereal. Oh, man. I love cereal. One of the hardest things about getting older is you just shouldn't eat cereal. I should say one of the things about sucks about getting older is like if you don't work out a lot and eat cereal, it's terrible. Oh, man. I ate a bowl of cereal. It's like, okay, well, it's 5 pounds. Sean Curran, fun fact, the Dallas Cowboys have never won a Super Bowl on a flat screen TV. Cousin? Good morning, cousin. Ryan, Dallas Cowboys is for entertainment purposes only. That's funny. Sure will. There we go. I think he does. There we go. There we go. There we go. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are wonderful, as per usual. Let's get to the morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. Eagles continue practice today. They continue prepping for the Dallas Cowboys Thursday night kickoff. Phillies off today, 6 games up in the NL East on the Braves, or excuse me, Chiefs. Remember those days? On the Mets. Mets won 10-8 yesterday. Mets, by the way, are playing the Tigers. I think they continue that series today. I don't know why this is being so slow, but it is annoying. Yeah, September 2nd. Yeah, they got the Tigers again today. 6:40 start time for them while the Phillies have the off day. Noel McLean against the start against Sawyer Gibson Long. McLean still a sub-1 ERA of 0.89, 3-0. We know the story there. Gibson Long comes into this one 0-1 with a 4.32 ERA. That's 6:40 start time in Detroit Rock City. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. You guys are... Oh, wait. They're selling it at Renders. I'll have to get me a box. Proceeds go to Iowa Children's Hospital. That's awesome. That's so awesome. Appreciate that. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are great as per usual. I will be back. Darkwing Ducky, I never said the Phillies didn't have a chance. They could still very much win the Super Bowl. Or, excuse, the Phillies could still very much win the World Series. It all comes down to hitting for me. It all comes down to hitting. I know everyone, pitching. Yeah, well, pitching really hasn't been. Bullpen has been the problem in the past. Hitting in general has been a problem in the past. But they hit, they win. Very simple. They hit, they win. Appreciate you. Thanks again, everybody in the chat. You guys are great. I'll be back with you guys tomorrow. Got to go get little toots ready for first day of first grade. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Be back with you guys tomorrow. Look forward to it. Also, be back with you guys Locked On 76ers later today. And then I'm done. I don't speak on a microphone again until Tuesday morning when I'm back with you guys for the Farzy Show. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Back with you guys tomorrow. See you guys then.